right, it is 6 o'clock on the dot. I believe I have my comment section up for YouTube. Let's see if I could find comments for LinkedIn, but if not, I know my tech savvy business partners are standing in the gap for me just in case I can't see comments from LinkedIn. But I'm going to go ahead and get started and hop right in. So, first off, let me just say I am so excited about what we are doing this week. We are in a celebration. We are celebrating our 100th episode, our 100th podcast episode. If you haven't already checked out the 5 Minute Career Hack podcast, we're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else that you can stream podcasts. But we are this week celebrating our 100th episode. And before we get started, we are celebrating by way of 5 lives in 5 days, sharing with you keys to help you in your job search, not the job search plan, but the job search strategy. So I don't know about you all, but when I am invited to a celebration or when I'm hosting a celebration, the first thing I want to do is I want to invite people to the party. This is a party by way of a masterclass. So I want to just ask you one favor before we get started. Can you please share this? Either whether you're watching on YouTube or you're watching on LinkedIn, share this with 5 people. We like the number 5 around here. 5 people, and invite them to join this party with us. This is day 4, and tonight we are talking about what do you do in between that first interview and the job offer. We're going to talk about that period in between that first interview and that job offer. And Jamila kicked us off so gracefully on day 1, talking about how to make sure you are confident in the content that is on your resume. And Alicia talked about how to really maximize and be intentional when you are in the interview process, not just interviewing the interview, but interviewing with intent to upskill and intent to get the marriage proposal, right? We want to get this call back. And today I'm going to be talking about, again, what do we do between that first interview and that job offer? And then we're going to wrap it up tomorrow with you got the marriage proposal, you got the job. Now what? How do you make sure that you are being the most strategic in those first 90 days? While you're inviting people, I want to encourage you to stay to the end. I'm giving away some stuff today. Jamila gave away all type of, she probably gave probably 50 gifts away on day 1. Alicia gave away some things last night, and I'm going to give away 5 things tonight. I'm giving away 5 things tonight to over 10 people. So you definitely want to stay to the end because we are sharing knowledge and we are sharing the keys to help you maximize this job search strategy. Okay, so hopping right in again, Jamila talked about resume. Alicia talked about interviewing, and I'm talking about how do you make sure you are doing the right activities, right, in between that first interview and that marriage proposal. And the stat that I shared when I started this was acknowledging that 80% of job seekers admit to making common mistakes during this very crucial stage. You make common mistakes. And so as I talk about this interview process and this stage of the interview, I'm gonna talk a little spicy tonight. You know, I don't know if you guys have ever heard, but interviewing with an organization, obviously it's a two-way exchange. You are interviewing them, they are interviewing you, right? I'm gonna correlate it to you going on a date. Dating, if you've ever been on a date, put a heart in the chat if you've ever been on a date. If you've ever been on a date, you may relate to some of this, but I'm going to translate some of this job search language to dating, right? I know online dating is a big industry right now, and many people are finding their mates and finding their good thing online. So I'm going to help you think about it in a relatable context where you are thinking about the stages that you take when you date, the steps that you take, the activities, all that, we're dating a job, and we want to make sure that it gets to relationship, and that offer is that marriage proposal. So let's just say we're online dating, right? And I love numbers. I love numbers. Anytime I can put a number to something, because I'm such a logical person, it just hits home for me. So, recent research by the Talent Function Group said that 1,000 individuals will see an online job posting. So, we're starting with 1,000. 200 will begin the application process. So, that's already 800 people out the game. Only 200 are going to apply after they see the post. 100 will actually complete the interview. So we're already down to 100 people, 900 people omitted. 75 of those 100 resumes will be screened out by either the ATS or a recruiter. 25 of those resumes will actually be seen by the hiring manager. So only 1/3 of those 75 resumes will actually be seen by the hiring manager. Only 4 to 6 will be invited to an interview. So 1,000 people, now we're down to 4 to 6 people that are going to be invited to the interview. 1 to 3 of them will be invited back for a final interview. And of course, we know only one will be offered that job. And 80% of those that receive that offer will actually accept the offer. So when we look at going from 1,000 down to 1 to 3 people, just for good measure, I'm going to say 3, right? That's going to get that invited back for that final interview. That is 0.03% of the people who saw your profile, who saw on that dating app, that only 0.03, not 0.3%, not 3%, 0.03% of people will actually make it through this crucial phase that I'm talking about tonight. Okay, so I want to make sure that you are equipped to be that 0.03% at any point in your interview process, right? Or in your job search process. So I'm sharing tonight 5 keys. I'm sharing 5 keys, 5 steps to make sure your online dating profile, it got you to date. And now we want to get you to final interview and to the marriage proposal. So I'm going to hop right in. Step 1, the first key, the first hack that we're going to give you, and that is prompt follow-up. You got to strike while the iron is hot. So engage with me in the chat. I know if you've watched any 5-minute career hack material, we like to be interactive when we're doing our lives. So I'm going to give you 3 options. What do you think is the appropriate amount of time before you reach out after that first interview? You went on that first date after they made it through your dating profile. What do you think is the appropriate amount of time before you reach out and communicate to the interviewer saying thank you? Put in the chat for me. The options are 24 hours, 36 hours, and 48 hours. And I know my fellow co-founders are watching the chat. The options are 24, 36, and 48. What do you all think? This is where I need some engagement. Talk back to me a little bit. And even though I can't see the comments, I definitely want to give you some time to think about this. Don't Google it. Just go off your gut instinct, because tonight is not about getting the right answer. It's about walking away with the right tools. Okay? So I'm going to give you the answer. 24 hours. After you go on that first date, the person that you're dating, you went down and you sat down for dinner, you got to know each other, you looked at each other left eye to left eye and had conversation. The person who is pursuing the job, you're pursuing that job or pursuing this date, pursuing this relationship, should be reaching out within 24 hours. Just as you would, if you were on a date, would you wait for days for somebody to text you and say they were interested after y'all had a great first date? No, you're going to reach out to them within 24 hours to say, thank you. I enjoyed you last night. I had a great time. I look forward to seeing you again. Here's a couple things. Maybe you wouldn't say this in a text, but in interview context, you want to let them know, here are a few things that I noticed about the organization, because you already shared in your research. You're going to share things in that interview that stood out to you, why your strategy, your career strategy, is aligned with the company's mission and vision. You want to talk about that. Maybe mention a couple of things that are that happened in the interview that you all talked about that showed alignment, and thank them and let them know that you would look forward to hearing from them in whatever time. I'm gonna get to that in a second. In whatever time that was committed to in that interview. Okay. So I know that was a mouthful, right? We're going to give them a note within 24 hours. You're going to send them that text in 24 hours, and you're going to let them know that you thank you for the, you're going to thank them for the interview. You're going to let them know why your mission and vision and strategy for your career is aligned with the mission and vision for that organization, right? And then you're going to let them know, bring up a couple things you all talked about, and thank them again, and let them know you look forward to follow up. Inside of our Career Hacks Masters course, we have, I think it's about 3 materials, a couple modules, and even some worksheets and some homework and some quizzes on this very topic alone. And one of the things that we offer in that package inside the Career Hacks Masters course, and it's also a part of our very comprehensive interview prep class, that interview prep coaching that we do, is you actually get the templates that tell you what you should say. And all you have to do is insert, right? You're going to insert the things that I just talked about. So if you haven't already enrolled in the Career Hacks Masters course, stay to the end because I might have something for you. Okay. So really this step is about making sure that you show your enthusiasm for the role and you keep that connection alive. I think Jamila said it so beautifully on the first day that those recruiters are humans, and making sure that you still make connection with them digitally, it triggers dopamine, right? So you want to make sure that we remember that the interviewers in this dating process, they are human beings and they need to hear from you and be confident that your interest still stands, right? So again, if you haven't already purchased our Career Hacks Masters course, or if you haven't received it in our giveaway that we did on Monday, I'm just saying stay here because there may be an opportunity for you to get in on the goods. All right, so we went on a date. The first step after the first interview is to send that text to your potential partner and let them know that you appreciate their time and that you look forward to follow up, and just make that connection. And you're going to probably have even more interviews as you go, right? You're going to have more interviews. I recall several jobs that I've applied for actually, but the first time it was a job that I took back in maybe 2012. And I had these thank you notes ready to go. I had thank you notes. I had their email address. In the two field, I had the title of the email already ready. I had the templates already ready, and all I had to do was insert the information from the interview. So they got those notes 24 hours in. But as I went through the interview process, what I wanted to do differently, and what I want to share with you all tonight, is I didn't say the exact same thing to each person that I interviewed with. I found a way to reword it where it said the same thing, but it wasn't the exact wording because, again, you're a human on the other side of that email, and it's a human that's reaching the other side. So there's still a necessity for a personal connection to happen when you send that note. So you send them that note, you send them that text, say, appreciate your time. And now it is time to continue your professional networking. So think of your professional network like mutual friends in the dating world, right? You're leveraging connections to understand, like, hey, do you know this person? Or if you are connected, let's just say we're in the social media world, right? So you see somebody that's connected to this person and you reach out to them and say, hey, I went out on a date with this person. I noticed you're my good friend. I noticed that you know this person. Would you give me some insight as to what I'm getting into? They may give you some red, green, or blue flags, as they call it today, right? So in the job search context, LinkedIn, which we're on LinkedIn on this live right now, is the perfect place, the perfect platform to do something like this, because you want to get closer to that person, which is that company that you're interested in. You are engaging with their content, sending personalized messages to people on LinkedIn. It's just you showing interest in their common interests and hobbies. Okay, so that's dating context, common interests and hobbies, and you showing interest in them. online, showing interest in the content that that company is posting, the initiatives. You want to remain current on what's going on from interview to interview. I am never ashamed to admit when I made a mistake at something, and I made a mistake that I want to share with you all tonight. During this process, it didn't cost me the job, but it did go, it went into my hard drive, as Jamila called it. And I was so conscious of it for every interview after that, right in this very step. So I was interviewing with this organization. I was actually referred. I've been referred to every job that I've taken, quite honestly. So I'll just be 100% honest there. But I was referred by someone because your network is so important, while we're talking about professional networks. And went through the first interview process with the recruiter. That was over the phone. Did another interview with who would have been my boss's HR partner. We had that conversation. It was great. They invited me out to their corporate office, and I was there to do a case study and then meet with all the executives at this organization, right? So while I was there, and I had, I'm Candace, right? I'm prepared. So I had news articles. I had something prepared to engage and talk to them about at every stage of the interview. I was ready to talk to the technology executive. I was ready to talk to the loss prevention executive. I was ready, I thought, to talk to the HR executive. But guess what happened? I walked in there with an old article from a couple of years later where they announced this big initiative, and I failed to read the date on this article. And so I had talking points because I was impressed by it, but I introduced it in the conversation as a new initiative. Oh, I'm so excited about this new initiative that you have this. And she looked at me very openly and transparently and said, oh, we did that 2 years ago. And so, of course, I'm eating pie on my face, right? But I just admitted, hey, you know what? I didn't even notice the date. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. So tell me, you got to be ready, right? With asking those next questions. So tell me, how is it working? What wins, what opportunities, or any aha moments that you've seen with the initiative? So I made that mistake, but I want you walking away from this class more prepared than I was that day. When you are engaging and networking and understanding what this company is doing, it's got to be current. The business world, just about every industry is moving so quickly. Things are changing from day to day. And so while you are in this crucial phase of networking while dating and finding out more about this company, is so critical that you stay current. Don't drop the bag like I did, but if you did, don't beat yourself up about it, because as you can see, there's a way to spin it around, because again, we are humans. We make mistakes, right? So professional network, because it's really a small world. It's so interesting. Another job that I had afterwards, I was reached out to, like I told you, I was referred. I was reached out to join this organization. And I looked and I saw, hey, I know 4 people in this organization. Let me go to their LinkedIn profile. Let me send them a DM and ask them if we can spend about 15 minutes where I can hear about their experience with this organization. And I can find out, as I start to date this organization, I can find out if their values are going to be aligned with my values. I also want to find out from them, like, what do you love about the organization and what don't you love about the organization? These are critical questions to ask in this crucial stage, because you want to make sure that you don't keep going on dates and end up in a toxic relationship. That's a whole nother podcast. But it's so important to make sure that you are tapping your network, either the one that you already have, or if you don't know anybody in that organization, how about you start connecting with people that you don't know and just be transparent. I am interviewing with this organization. I'm about to I want to go to a second date. Please, is it okay if I get on your calendar and we spend some time with me hearing back, with me getting feedback from you on your experience? The worst answer that you can get, or actually not the worst answer, but nothing beats a failure but a try, like my mom always says, right? So the worst answer they can give you is no. and you keep moving on. If it's an organization that is huge, Fortune 500, Fortune 100, reputable, maybe there's tons of connections that you can make, but be strategic. Reach out to people who have been with the organization for a good amount of time, and then also find you a couple of folks that's just joined the organization because you want to hear about their onboarding experience. But I wouldn't go ham on this, right? I'm not saying go and connect with 100 people because you don't have time, right? You don't have time for that. But you want to strategically find a select few people that you want to reach out to, network, get to know, so you can find out if you want to keep going on dates, and if they propose, if you're going to say yes when they pop that question. Okay. If this is resonating with you, I don't know if I have a favorite emoji. I love love, so hearts are always my favorite emojis. Drop a heart in the comment if this is resonating with you. If you have questions, again, if I don't get your questions right now, I promise that I'm going to be in the chat after this so that I can get your questions answered. But if you have any questions, again, drop them in the comments. Put a heart if this is resonating with you, because I want you to get the marriage proposal. So I'm sharing these keys to help you move through the dating/interview process. All right. Drop me some hearts. All right. So next, step 3. So step 1, 24-hour thank you note. Step 2, professionally network throughout the process, right? Step 3 is tailored preparation. Just as you would tailor your conversation to match the interests of somebody that you're dating, you're customizing your interview responses based on what you've learned about the company and that feedback from the first interview. I used to interview people a lot when I was in corporate America, and I was never the first interview, right? So I was always like either step before the final interview, or depending on their role, maybe I was the final interview. And one of the first questions that I would ask, and for those of you that are out there interviewing, I highly recommend this. I know Alicia says these are considerations. This is a strong consideration. I'm encouraging you to ask this question. But I always ask the person, I want to hear what they talked about in previous interviews. Tell me about your interview with a recruiter, B, store manager, B, C, district manager. I want to hear and understand if they were present in those conversations. I also want to make sure that I'm not overlapping information. And I want to just hear if they're able to, if they can communicate their takeaways from those previous interviews, right? So as an interviewer, I would always value when somebody could tell me and kind of give me a brief, 30-second to 45-second recap of what they learned or what the interview process has been about, or maybe something that somebody said that made them more excited about the process. As an interviewer, it's so important to be strategic here. You want to be strategic. You are customizing your answers and customizing your communication during this interview to captivate this person that you want to propose to you, right? So, for instance, as an interviewer, if when they get to that question, do you have any questions? By the way, if you haven't already heard, I got questions, get an answer. That is an episode that I highly recommend you as a job seeker. You never want to go into an interview without questions. And I recorded an episode giving you a strategy on how you can frame those questions, gave you a few questions to ask as well. But when they get to that, do you have any questions? I am going to ensure that I mention. So when I talked to, and I'm just going to use the name Sue, right? I talked to Sue, and she told me that over the next 5 years, you were looking to expand into ABC city, right? Into this certain city. Can you tell me any pitfalls or any insight you can give me into that strategy? Anything that you're excited about it? And this is just a quick example that I just came off my dome. But you want to be sure to customize even your questions and your answers to make sure that they know that you were present and that you were being strategic and you're thinking critically throughout this interview process, right? So you're going to customize to captivate during your questions And you also can customize to captivate when you are answering questions. So let's just say they ask you a same question that somebody else asked you, right? So they ask you, tell me your top 3 skills, question off the top of the dome. You could answer with, well, as I was telling Sue when I first met her, I am passionate about ABC. Since we started dating, I've noticed that these values and the mission and the vision of this organization is aligned with my 3 strengths, right? So to reiterate that, I continue to be excited, and these are the strengths, and this is how I think it will resonate and help the company achieve its goals, right? You want to customize your answers to ensure that you're making a connection, that you show that you are thinking critically, that you show that you've made connections with previous interviewers and you're still invested in a dating process, right? If they think you're not that interested in them because you're giving canned answers, they're not going to propose to you. They're not going to propose to you. Okay, so the third one is customize to captivate. After that first interview, depending on what who the organization is, you may have several interviews in between. Some organizations take anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks to hire somebody. I'm not saying I agree with that. It just depends on the role, but sometimes it's a very long process. And in the meantime, you are going on several interviews, and the goal for that I want for everybody is to get better, and you are getting to know this company, getting to know who you're dating more and more as you go through the interview process. So you want to make sure that you are present and that you're customizing your answers and your interactions to captivate this person that you want to pop the question to you. All right, give me some more hearts. I got 2 more to go. These are a little quicker, but give me a couple more hearts. Again, I'm almost there. I'm almost done. At the end of this, I'm giving away something. So you still got time to invite people. This is always going to be live on our LinkedIn page and our YouTube channel. So if they missed the first 3, they can go back, invite 5 more friends right now. And I need you to stay to the end because I'm giving away some gems at the end. All right, so we're on a date. We sent the text. We networked with people who knew them, right? We went back on a couple of more dates, and we were customizing and just showing that we were getting to know that person, and that we were interested in that person. We were keeping the connection going, and now it's about clarity and expectations. We don't want You don't want an employer. You don't want the person that you're dating to keep you guessing. So you have to make sure that you walk away from each one of these interviews with clarity and understanding expectations for the rest of the interview process. So in a dating world, it's like being clear about your intentions, and where you see the relationship is going is super important, right? You got to know, you want to know as you're dating somebody if this interview is going anywhere, not to be ghosted, right? You don't want to be ghosted by the person that you're dating, right? So similarly, doing interviews, ask about the decision-making timeline and the next steps in the interview process. When you're up front here, it helps you to manage your expectations. And again, it shows your interest. I want to keep dating you. I want you to call me back. So I'm going to ask questions of, when should I hear from you? Or is there a certain time frame that I should be reaching back out? What should I expect as the next step? Right? We want to make sure we understand expectations. One thing as an interviewer that I did not love was when people didn't have questions at all, and this was the only question. So I didn't love that, right? Because I do want you to be, very curious about this, but I want this just to be a part of the question group that you ask is, thank you I enjoyed my time today. Can you just give me some insight into what the rest of the interview process looks like? And if they answer clearly and give a concise answer with timelines, now you have an expectation that you can now go to your calendar and you can put that on your calendar of what should be the next steps that you'll expect, right? And while I'm here, I want to call out Because if you hadn't already listened to episode 2 of our podcast, I talk about always be interviewing. So if you started out and you met a bunch of people online, you may be going through this process with several people, right? You might be going through this process with several people. So it's so important that you are organized. You don't want to send the wrong text to the wrong person. You got to be organized in this process and make sure that you have clear expectation from each company that you are interviewing with and that you are dating in this process. Okay. Again, I'm going to see questions at the end because I can't see them visibly right now. So if you're putting questions in the comments, again, I promise to get back to them. But I'm going to wrap us up with the final step. Final step. And this one is stay resilient. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on the prize. Some people just get lucky and they get invited. They get proposed to, it was love at first sight and they got proposed to on the first date. But it already read the numbers at the beginning, right? That 25, that 1,000 people dwindled down to 1 to 3 people. Everybody just doesn't get lucky. Maybe you were that one. But it's so important that you remain resilient and remember that yes is not always going to be an answer. It's not always going to be the answer. You're not going to always get the proposal. But now you have experience dating organizations that you can carry this experience to the next person that you date. Or when somebody, how do you engage in a potential relationship with someone and you show up as yourself with all the things that you learned and you get them to pop the question, right? So just as you wouldn't let one bad date discourage you from finding love, don't let a job rejection get you down. Don't let a job rejection get you down. Stay resilient. You're learning from each experience. You're maintaining a positive attitude throughout your journey. And this is you finding your dream job, right? So you're trying to find your perfect match for you to be able to go into that open marriage. That's another podcast. Go into that open marriage with the right frame of mind, but you have to be resilient throughout this process. You can't get stuck. My co-founder Alicia says all the time, stuck is an emotion. Inside the Career Hacks Masters course, that's one of the things that we touch on is emotional intelligence. I don't want anybody who is being coached by me to go into any interview process without the self-awareness, the social awareness, and all those other pillars and components to emotional intelligence. It's so important that you don't get stuck in your emotions and you have enough intelligence so you can make it through this process, right? So you can get the marriage proposal. Okay. So that last one, just to repeat it one more time, is stay resilient. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep dating other people. Keep going through this process. Yes, zero point 0.03, only 0.03 people are going to even get called back for the final interview. So you can't let it get you discouraged. It's jobs out here. It's a lot of jobs out here. And one of those is the perfect match for you. Okay. All right. So those were the 5 keys that I'm giving away tonight. I'm so glad that I hope that this resonated with you. I'm so glad that you all are here. I'm so excited about our 100th episode. Listen, I am big on celebrating myself. It's something that I do pretty effortlessly now, right? I like my own posts, not going back to look at comments, but I'm so excited to celebrate with all of you this 100th episode. Not many will get to 100 episodes, and we are just getting started. So I appreciate that you came out today to celebrate with us on our 100th episode extravaganza. Today I talked about 5 things that you can do in between that job, that first interview, which is that first date, to getting the marriage proposal, which is them offering you the job. And tomorrow, you better be ready tomorrow. Invite your friends, call your mother, your cousins, your coworkers, call everybody and tell them be here tomorrow, because tomorrow I am talking about how to enter into this open marriage, and I'm breaking it down into 3 steps. I'm breaking it down into 3 steps. 1, how you enter and don't burn out in the first 90 days. right? You don't burn out, end up in marriage counseling, and you just got married. You're in marriage counseling within the first 90 days. I don't want that for you. I don't want the burnout. I don't want the thought of divorce or you being burned out because you're focusing on the wrong activities, right? That's the first step. The second step that I'm going to be talking about tomorrow in our first 90 days is how to be strategic in this open marriage. How are you focusing on the right activities that are going to benefit you and the organization alike? Not 80% the organization, 20% you, but how are you going to be strategic when you start this job and do activities in your learning process that are going to benefit you and the organization? And that third step is how to make sure you don't get fired in that first 90 days because you are on a probationary period most times, right? So I don't want anybody who is here at the 5 Minute Career Hack getting divorced in the first 90 days if you could help it. And I'm going to be sharing a few transparent things about that, right? But come tomorrow because I'm sharing, I got the job. Now what? You're going to learn how to not burn out in those first 90 days trying to do all the wrong things or all the things. You're going to find out how to be strategic during that process. And the third thing that I'm going to talk about is how to make sure you don't get a divorce as soon as you get married to this person. Okay. So that is all that I have for today. I hope this resonated with you. It was so fun for me. I always love coming on and talking to you all about these hacks and being able to share the knowledge, the stories, the wins, the mistakes that we've made at 5 Minute Career Hack that has equipped us to support you in your career, not journey, not plan, but your career strategy. So I know you've been waiting on these giveaways. I'm giving them out right now. So I'm stepping this down. I'm giving away 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So right now, I'm giving out, which let me tell you what you have to do first. Make sure that you DM me, right? DM me so we can get you the information to get entered into our drawing so that you can receive I'm giving out 5 invites to join our career hacker community. We have a career hacker community that is just it's a powerhouse and a wealth of knowledge. We've got master classes in there. We have 7-day LinkedIn challenge, 7-day resume challenge, mindful minutes are in there. And I'm not even scratching the surface, but it's also an opportunity to network, to build your professional network inside our community. And I'm telling you, when you first join the community on that first day, it's going to be so many things there. It's going to take you weeks to digest it. And then to add to that, we are going to continue to add to the community and add content for you that's going to help you in your career strategy. So 5 people to join the community. We are inviting 5 people to join to the community. So send me a DM so I can make sure that we get you the information to enter the drawing, and we will be selecting winners, the winners of the drawing for 5 people to enter the community. I'm giving out 4 career hack masters courses. We have our career hacks masters course that walks you through the entire life cycle of the entire employment life cycle. Okay. So it takes you from that resume to LinkedIn to interview to salary negotiation to how to make sure we got a course in there on emotional intelligence, how to decide if it's time to exit the organization, and then how to build out and create an exit strategy for you leaving an organization. So it's 15 plus modules that are a part of this master's course, and I'm giving away 4 of those. So make sure you send your information to us so that you can be entered into the drawing. 5 community, I'm letting 5 people in the community absolutely free. I'm letting 4 people in the master's course absolutely free. I am inviting you 3 people. I'm going to be giving 3 people free access to our in transit masterclass. And this is one of my favorite masterclasses. What we know is that upwards of 50% of people are looking to make a career shift right now. And this masterclass will help you consider you're in transit, how to shift and pivot from one place to the next, from one industry to the next industry, from one job to that promotion, from one working in corporate America to entrepreneurship. We're talking about those things in this masterclass. We cover the promotion, we cover salary negotiation, and we cover the strategy of your career shift. I'm giving this away to 3 people. Again, send me a DM, email us at admin at 5minutecareerhack.com. We'll get you the information on how to enter the drawing to get 3 I'm giving out 3 in transit masterclasses. 2 free coaching. I'm giving out 2 free coaching sessions. In these coaching sessions, the team and I at 5 Minute Career Hack are really just there to make sure that you have a sound career strategy and you get one-on-one time with us so that we can help you ensure that you're making the right decisions, that you have all the tools you need, and really help you kind of goal set. Where do you want to be? And let's reverse engineer that to make sure we can help you get there faster. So I'm giving out 2 free coaching sessions. And then finally, we do resumes at 5 Minute Career Hack, right? When I researched the total amount to get your resume completed, it ranges anywhere from $500 to upwards of $1,000. And we have it on our website. We have a special going on right now where we're offering it, especially as we enter into interview season and job hunt season in January and February. We have a special right now where we're offering it for $250. And and we get you your resume score, we make sure that your resume matches the job that you're looking for and that you're ready to, like Jamila said, you got the most confident resume in the applicant pool. We help you with that. We charge $250 right now as a special promotion. You can find it on the resources tab of our website. But I'm giving away 1 resume package tonight. So everybody run, email admin at 5minutecareerhack.com or DM me your email address. We'll get you the information. I'm giving out 5 community memberships. I'm giving out 4 master's courses. This is our course that walks you through the employment life cycle. I'm giving away 3 in transit workshop master classes. I'm giving away 2 free coaching sessions, and I'm giving away 1 resume package out of this esteemed group. And don't you worry your pretty little head, I'm giving away more stuff tomorrow. So come back tomorrow, invite your friends, because tomorrow we're giving away more stuff, but we're also talking about, you got that proposal. Now, how do you make sure that you govern yourself accordingly in that open marriage? I love y'all so much. Be well. It has been such a pleasure talking to you all tonight. Again, if you left questions in the chat, we will get your questions answered. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Love y'all and be well.